Aloha, this is John Koolau with growingyourgreens.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you. I'm here on the beach today, and I thought I'd take a moment out of my trip here to Hawaii to share with you guys some resources if you live in Hawaii, and actually even if you don't. Today what we're going to do is we're going to go to a farm supply store and a seed shop here in Honolulu and share with you guys some of the plants and fruit trees and some of the unique things that I would grow if I were here. In addition, we're going to get to go to some awesome seed store that has a variety of seeds that have been growing here in the islands for nearly 100 years. That's, you know, better than grown in laboratory testing, but it's backyard farmers that have been growing these guys year after year with proven results. So I'm really excited to check out this cool 90-year-old seed store in this episode for you guys. So first, let's head to the farm supply store and share with you guys some cool, unique, and special plants that I'd be growing in Hawaii or other places in the tropics. So now we're going to share with you guys some resources for people that live on Oahu. I'm here in Honolulu today, and I'm going to visit 3 places actually that are in fairly a close proximity that can help you grow more food at home. My first stop is Koolau Farmers, and this is the location in Honolulu. They also have one in Kailua that I visited that's actually the largest one of them all. They also have one in Kaneohe, and this one's a little bit smaller, but still they got plenty of good stuff. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take you around and show you guys some of my favorite things, or specifically favorite plants I think you guys should grow if you live here on Oahu. So the first thing I think you should definitely get to grow in your garden is the Mamaki. The Hawaiians use this actually as a tea. You can use this as a tea and grow your own tea instead of having to buy it. But I prefer to actually just pick the little baby leaves and eat them in a salad. They have a nice mild flavor and they're quite good. Now I probably wouldn't make a salad out of them, but I like to eat a few leaves because this is known as a very medicinal and healing plant here in the islands. So if you guys like hot chilies, I got one for you here. This is the Hawaiian chili pepper. Check out this guy. It's just in a small little 3-gallon pot that's not even filled halfway up with soil, and look how mass abundant it is. Super healthy. Putting on a little flowers and a lot of little unripe fruits that'll soon ripen up, and a little hot spicy peppers. Literally, if you guys grow one of these plants, you'll never need to buy hot pepper spice again. Now we're in the area with all the different herbs and vegetables, and one of the things I want to encourage you guys to do first is grow an herb garden, especially here in the islands where it can be challenging to grow standard vegetables that are from the mainland. Many of the herbs will tolerate the nice tropical weather here and grow year-round without any problems. Of course, some will bolt and you have to replant them, but in general, the herbs are going to do much better than standard vegetables. In addition, many of the herbs you'll be able to just plant once, and if you plant it once, have a good space where you plant it, keep it well watered, and have good soil, growing in good compost and rock dust, worm castings, and other things that I recommend, you'll literally have these herbs for life. So this means no longer will you have to buy dried and powdered herbs. You can use them fresh, and I like to say, freshest is always bestest. So one of the coolest things I've seen and learned about since I've been here on the island is this guy. This is known as variegated chives. I mean, I've seen chives before, garlic chives, onion chives, Chinese chives, but I've never seen variegated chives. I like these guys a lot, and I only wish that I could bring some of these guys back home with me so I could grow some variegated chives along with the standard chives, you know, next door for nice color. Plus, people would probably just not know that these are edible, because usually variegated plants are usually kind of weird and might be poisonous, but these ones are just chives you could eat like standard chives. You got the chive. Probably my other favorite herbs that I've been growing lately are these guys. It's known as Shiso, and they got the purple kind and the green kind. I like to use those as an alternative to other leafy greens. I mean, in some cultures they use them kind of for a seasoning or flavoring. I just like to pick off leaves every now and then and add them to my salad in a salad blend of, you know, other leafy greens, including lettuce, kale, collard greens, spinach, whatever I got. Add some Shiso in for some beneficial properties. Also, many people are not aware that the Shiso seed is actually very high in omega-3 fatty acids. In addition, if the seeds are high in omega-3 fatty acids, as are the leaves, and omega-3s are definitely an important essential fat that you should be eating. Here's one pepper you won't want to mess with. It's known as the ghost pepper, and here it is unripe. They still got to turn a nice, like, darker orange, reddish color to be fully ripe. And I always encourage you guys to harvest your peppers at peak ripeness for best flavor and full development. The ghost pepper, when you eat it, it'll probably turn you into a ghost. I mean, it is really that hot. Some people say it's the hottest pepper in the world, but based on my latest research, it's one of the top hottest peppers in the world. And there's videos on YouTube of people eating just a piece of a ghost pepper and knurling over in pain for hours. So unless you're a pepper fanatic, don't buy a ghost pepper unless you just want to grow one to say, I'm growing one of the hottest peppers in the world. I know I did this past season, and I'm saving the seeds for it because actually, if you are growing it, it could be used for other uses. So you could use some of the hot pepper mixed in with some water, maybe some salsa soap, and make your own sprays for bugs, because if it's hot for us, it's also hot for the bugs, and they ain't gonna like it either. So what we're looking at now are two of my favorite spinaches that they have available here. These are known as perennial vegetables. So what that means is you're gonna plant these guys just once, and they'll continue to grow year after year, day after day for you to provide you an endless supply of leafy greens to eat. After all, my show is called Growing Your Greens because I want you guys to grow your greens and eat them. And the Okinawan spinach and the cholesterol spinach, which technically is the purple Okinawan spinach and the green Okinawan spinach, are the easiest vegetables to grow in this whole place and are going to provide you with leaves to eat all year long. Especially this one, if you have high cholesterol, you may want to eat some leaves. You know, it's said that by eating some of these leaves, you may lower your cholesterol. For me, instead of trying to, seek out items that will lower my cholesterol, I try to, eliminate cholesterol from my diet, such as the animal products that, in too excess of a quantity is probably not too good for you. But yeah, these two, definitely my top picks. I'd probably buy a bunch of these guys and plant them in my raised bed and dedicate a raised bed just to these guys, along with having an herb bed so I could eat a lot out of my own garden. Of course, they have plenty standard vegetables as well, including the collard greens, which are going to be probably one of the top producers here in Hawaii and last a fairly long time despite the tropical weather. The things like the red Russian kale, the standard dinosaur kale, and the lettuces are all great to grow. Of these guys here, I'd probably choose the Swiss chard to grow first, and then followed by the dinosaur kale. They're going to be more resilient to the extreme heat and resist the bolting better than a few of the other ones. Another one that I'm not seeing today is the Georgia Southern College, which I believe also will grow quite well in the weather here. Now, besides just the vegetables they got, you might want to also consider growing some fruit trees or vining crops if you have the space. We're going to hit the fruit trees in a second, but before I do, I want to talk about these guys. These are the passion fruits, or lilikoi. They're going to basically, if you got a nice fence or a nice hurricane fence that looks ugly, or a fence that these guys could grow up, even an old tree that is just no longer alive, you can grow these guys at the base and it'll grow up the tree, up the side of your house if you provide some way where it could climb onto, or hurricane fencing, and it'll fill it with green so it'll look nice. It'll also provide you with countless amounts of the passion fruit or lilikoi. Now, they have the purple and the yellow one here, but what I would encourage you guys to do is look for the Jamaican orange passion fruit. They're far sweeter and much more delicious than either the purple or the yellow from my past experience. So what we're looking at now are just some of the selection of the fruit trees they have here. I think we're in the mango section. I see like at least a half dozen varieties of different mango trees that they have available. In addition, in front of me are a whole line of citrus fruits, and they also have some tropical fruits such as the lychee, longan, and other tropical fruits. Now, I want to encourage you guys always to grow what's easy for you. If you have land and you don't want to put a lot of time into vegetable gardening, grow an herb bed. That's going to require the at least amount of input to you once you get it set up on an automatic irrigation system, or if it simply rains enough. Next is the Okinawan spinaches, the green and the purple variety. Those guys, as long as they got irrigation going to them, they're going to grow without any headaches, without any problems. You'll always be able to go out to your garden outside and pick some food to eat. After that, then I would focus on something like the fruit trees. They do take more space and can require more maintenance over the years as they get large if you want to keep them small. But literally, if you provide them a good home, dig a nice large hole, plant it on a slope, plant them, give them some good compost and good nutrition, including the rock dust, they're going to produce countless pounds and pounds of fruits for you year after year. I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about buying a fruit tree. You know, buying vegetables are cool because you buy a vegetable and they're kind of small, they stay small, and you could always take them out, replant or whatever. But once you buy a fruit tree, you know, it's something that's more permanent. I mean, fig trees could last over 100 years and produce fruit for that long as well. So I really want you guys to select your fruit trees carefully. It's very important. I mean, select fruits that, number one, you like a lot, that you love. Don't just get ones that, oh, I kind of like oranges. Don't plant an orange if you kind of like it, you know. Try other ones, and if there's fruits that you're not familiar with, especially here in Hawaii, I would encourage you guys to actually maybe go down in this same shopping complex. There's a store called the Chinatown Market, and they have some of the tropical fruits that you can actually buy and taste to see what some of these guys or some of the trees are gonna, you know, yield fruit and what it's gonna taste like. And find the ones that you like the most, take these guys home, plant them, grow them in rich, fertile soil, compost, rock dust, and all the other amendments that I recommend, and you're gonna even have better tasting fruit than money can buy. I think it's quite sad that in today's agriculture system, they're mainly concerned with putting NPK or a 10-10-10, 15-15-15, 16-16-16 fertilizer. And in my opinion, that's not the best way to be growing your food to have the maximum flavor and the maximum nutrition. So in order to get the maximum flavor, maximum nutrition, it's very important you guys grow your own. And I'm glad you guys are taking the time to invest in yourself by watching this video to learn about some of the tropical fruit trees and selecting them and some of the other things you can grow here in Hawaii or wherever you live. Some other criteria when selecting a fruit tree is that you want to grow things that are unique and different, right? Many of your neighbors already may have citrus trees, so why grow another citrus tree when you could grow something like the chico sapote or sapodilla, which is known as the brown sugar fruit, that to me is much more interesting, and I would rather eat any day of the week instead of an orange. So you could have something more rare and then trade your rare stuff for 2 times as much of the standard common citrus fruits. In addition, when people are trying to like steal your food or steal the fruit in your trees, people know what oranges are, but they won't know what some of these exotic fruits are, especially ones with these spikes, like the durian. All right, now we're outside the Fukuda seed store, and this seed store has been selling seeds to the island since 1920. This is 3rd generation. So we're here at 1287 Kalani Street at the seed store, and they got store hours posted, but be sure you call before you come because this is a family-owned business and they may just take some time off sometimes. But the seeds are also available at other locations around the island, so you can give them a call. I will give you the contact information at the end of this video. In any case, let's head inside the seed store and check out the seeds. So now we're inside the Fukuda seed store, and as you guys can see, they got racks and racks of all kinds of seeds. Now they've been in business since like the 1920s. They've been here almost 100 years. I always want to encourage you guys to support, you know, local seed companies instead of seed companies that ship things from far off lands that are big corporations. They certify here that all their seeds come from non-GMO sources, and the majority of their seeds are non-treated seeds. I always encourage you guys to get non-treated and non-GMO seeds every single time. So another thing really cool about this local seed company here to the islands is that they have the varieties and the seeds that you guys need if you live here in the islands. They're going to do well in this climate. If you go down to your local big box store and buy the seeds, those seeds are coming from the mainland. Some of those seeds might not do so well here in Hawaii, where all the varieties here have been tested year after year by many backyard growers that get proven results. So what we're going to do next, actually, I'm going to share with you guys some of my favorite seed varieties that they're selling here that I believe you guys should grow. So before we get into sharing with you guys the seeds that they have here at the Fukuda seed store, we're going to share this with you guys. Actually, this is a seed counting device, like very high tech, so that they don't have to touch the seeds. One of the things I've learned while I was here is that on certain varieties of seeds, not all seeds of course, on certain varieties, if you touch the seeds, you can contaminate the seeds with your oils and other things on your skin, and then the seeds will not germinate. So for that reason, you might want to wear some, you know, thin gloves when dealing with seeds, and rest assured, if you're buying your seeds here, they're not touching the seeds, so you'll have the highest level of germination. So I'm sure that I could spend all day in a seed store checking out all their seeds, over 300 varieties, but I'm just going to pick out a handful of ones that I believe you guys should grow. Now, you know, if you're local to Hawaii, these are the seeds you're going to want to get. They distribute in many different stores throughout the islands. You can also call them directly to order, and they can ship inter-island. And in addition, if you live on the mainland in the US, you could call them and also order them, and they can ship them to you. So the first seed I'm going to recommend are one of the favorite fruits that people like to eat, and yes, this is a fruit. It's a cucumber. So it's not just the standard American cucumber. I particularly don't care for the American cucumber, and it's a rare day that I'm actually growing my garden, although I may grow them for fun sometimes. I just don't like the bitter skin and how the skin tastes. It's just not so good. But one of their best sellers here is the Japanese cucumber. This has like a very delicate, nice, crunchy cucumber with a non-bitter skin. This is definitely the cucumber you want to grow on the islands and maybe even where you live. Next, we're going to talk about one of my favorite leafy greens to eat, and it's right here. They got a whole row of them. They're the lettuces. And lettuces is what you normally think of when you think of salad, and probably the most popular variety of lettuce here is the Manoa lettuce. That's a variety that if you come to Hawaii, you're probably going to be eating some Manoa lettuce. It definitely grows good. Now, because Hawaii is the tropics and lettuce is not a naturalized crop of the tropics, they have some special varieties of lettuce that is more tolerant of the heat and resistant to bolting. So if you're looking for a more heat tolerant lettuce, you might want to get one of the varieties they're offering here. So they have a variety of not only vegetables but also herbs and herb seeds. Some of my favorite herbs that you might call a herb, like you just saw in that previous clip, is the shiso. So they have the green and the red shiso or perilla seeds, so you can grow them from seed. And I want to let you guys know that growing from seed is always less expensive than buying the plants. But if you're a new gardener, I always actually recommend that you guys buy the little starter plants because you're going to have a much higher level of success. Now, besides the shiso, which is kind of common, they have actually an uncommon green here. It's right here. It's actually called the Mitsuba Japanese parsley, and it says here, this Japanese herb has a really unique flavor tasting like angelica, celery, and parsley. All parts are edible. You can use the leaves, stems, roots, and seeds to flavor foods. Foliage and or stems are ready to harvest in about 50 to 60 days. Easy to grow from seed. Just be sure to sow seeds very shallow. So yes, I mean, it's hard to find this Mitsuba, but they got it here if you want to order it. You know, I always want to encourage you guys to experiment and grow different kind of crops than you're used to. One of the things I like about the company here is that they have a lot of different Asian greens that as Americans, most people are not familiar with, and they have amazing flavors, really good nutrition, plus also they may grow better than some of the standard counterparts that you're used to. Next, what I want to do is share with you guys some leafy greens. After all, my show is called Growing Your Greens because I want you guys to grow and eat your leafy greens. They have far more protein than even animal products do, and they're the simplest thing to grow. The problem is you might get bored of eating that kale and collard greens and lettuces, but there's many more other varieties of greens that you can eat, and I'm happy that they offer some of the seeds here. Some of my favorites they have here are, of course, the Malabar spinach. They have the green Malabar spinach. There also is a red Malabar spinach that they don't have. This is an excellent vegetable to grow in the tropics or in the nice warm summer season in the mainland. So for example, in Las Vegas, these guys will go right through the heat of the summer without blinking an eye and provide you delicious edible leaves all summer long. Aside from that, another one that's really good that many people aren't aware of in the States are these guys. It's the amaranth. But these amaranth seeds are not just any old amaranth. Most amaranth is grown for the seed, but this is a special kind of amaranth. They actually got the standard green and a red variety of amaranth grown for the nice, delicious leaves that taste similar as spinach. So next I want to show you guys some more traditional leafy greens. They're going to grow well here in Hawaii with hot, sustained temperatures. Also that are good kales to grow in the summertime if you don't live in Hawaii. One of the things I've learned is that most kales like a nice cool temperature. Many of them bolt fast and don't perform well in the heat. And I'm glad to say that they have two of my favorite varieties of standard kales. They're going to do quite well. Now my top pick is of course right here. It's the Kale Toscano, also known as the dinosaur kale or Tuscan kale or black kale. That's my top pick. And number two is the red Russian kale. In my garden I find that the red Russian kale tends to bolt a little bit quicker than the dinosaur kale or the black kale. So that's the one I definitely recommend for you. Although kales can have a strong flavor. So let's go ahead and talk about another nutritious vegetable that is maybe even more nutritious than kale with a nice mild flavor. Now we're going to share with you guys actually another crop that's actually related to okra that, in my opinion, is just not well known enough. If you don't remember anything from this whole video, this is the section that you're going to want to remember. It's right here. It's called Saliyut, and it's called Malohia. I actually call it Egyptian spinach, and that's what it is here. This is a seed that actually is very hard to find. There's not many seed sellers that offer this seed, so I'm glad they're offering it here. It will do well in the tropics, as it will do well in a place where, you know, it doesn't frost. So you can grow it in the summer season wherever you live in the world. And why I like this one so much is that it's a very nutritious leafy green vegetable. Once again, growing your greens. I want you guys to grow your greens and eat them, and this is probably more nutritious than kale based on some of the testing I've seen. How I originally heard about the Egyptian spinach was that I was at a health food trade show, and there's a company in Japan that's growing the Egyptian spinach and powdering up and putting it into little capsules and putting it into bottles, selling bottles of stuff for like 40 bucks. Now, it's always better to grow your own food than buying something in a bottle, in my opinion. So I learned about this, got the seeds, and started growing it myself. Now you can also grow it because a Fukuda seed store will also sell them to you guys. So yeah, one of the things I like about this leafy green is not only is it one of the most nutrient dense and most nutritious leafy greens on the whole planet, it actually tastes pretty good too. Many of you guys might not like the taste of kale or collard greens, which are also plenty nutritious, but they have a nice strong flavor. This is a nice mild flavor, and it kind of reminds me of lettuce. So maybe I'll even bring some of these seeds back with me today so I could grow them at home. Let's talk about two more leafy greens that are some of my top favorites here that they're offering at the seed store. Number one is this guy right here. This is the true watercress. You know, this is not peppercress or some other kind of cress. This is the true watercress. This likes to grow like in a running water in streams. If you're planting in your garden, it could do great in your garden as long as you leave the area nice and watered. Do not let it dry out. And this is known as the watercress. Has a nice peppery flavor, and this is one of the most nutrient dense vegetables. It has the most nutrition with the least amount of calories. And check it out, these seeds are tiny, and you get literally probably like 1,000 seeds in this little bag. You could seed out a whole area of your garden to grow a bunch of watercress. Now besides the watercress, there's another crop that likes it when it's nice and wet, and it's right here. This is known as the water spinach, or ung choi. This one probably cannot be shipped to the U.S. Mainland because it says, do not transport seed or plant material to the mainland United States, because this is listed as a noxious weed under the Federal Noxious Weed Act. But let me tell you, this is one of the most nutritious vegetables that you may never get to taste. Let's talk about yet a few more leafy greens I like that they're offering here. In the winter time, I like to grow these leafy greens in my winter garden. And it's this guy right here. It's actually the Mizuna. It makes a good leafy green. It's related to the mustard family, but it's not like a hot mustard flavor like many mustards. It's nice and mild, and it grows relatively fast. So you could be growing these and eating them in a really quick style time. And in the winter time, there's nothing like some fresh Mizuna out of your garden. Especially when lettuce is growing a little bit slower and doesn't quite do as well because of the hard, cold weather. The Mizuna is just gonna keep on barreling through and growing well for you. So I like that guy a lot. Another one of my favorite leafy greens is right here. I've grown this many years now, and it's a leafy green that many Americans may not be familiar with. It's actually called chop suey green, or shingiku, or it's the edible chrysanthemum leaf. And this one, I like to harvest them when they're quite young and tender. You can also harvest them when they're more mature and older, when the plant is going into the flower stage, but it's a lot more hardcore taste, and I could really appreciate the taste. There's really no other leafy green that has this kind of flavor complexity. And in addition, you can also eat the flowers. I like to eat the flower petals off the flowers when it does go to its flowering stage. And of course, once you grow it to a full, through its full life cycle and it does go to flower, save those little seeds so that you can grow them the following year in your garden. So one of the things I like that they're doing here is actually they're color coding their seed packages. So every different, seed kind has a different color. So this is the cabbages over here, they're yellow. And of course, when you think orange, what do you think of? Yeah, of course, carrot. So these carrot packages are orange. But here's the interesting thing. I mean, you guys might think of the carrot as orange, but I know that the carrot comes in a variety of colors. And I want to encourage you guys, if you grow carrots, not just to grow the standard orange carrot. It's so like passe, like it's too common. I want you guys to grow the uncommon things. And right here they have the purple, red, orange, yellow, and white carrots. Actually, the white carrots are actually quite rare. You don't see those too much. And this is a mixture of seeds in this little packet, so you can grow a rainbow of carrots. And I want to remind you guys that each color of the carrots have different pigments in there, and each pigment means different antioxidants and phytochemicals that are probably protective, for you against diseases and this kind of thing. Next, we're going to share one of my top 5 favorite root vegetables with you, and no, it's not potatoes. It's this guy right here. What this is called the jicama, or the chop suey yam. Some people say yam bean, but what it is, you're going to plant these little seeds here, and you're going to be very careful not to eat the greens or the seed pods or anything above the ground on this plant. It actually is poisonous. But what you can eat is the nice tuberous root. It's a nice and mild flavor. Doesn't even need to be cooked to be eaten. You just peel it, and then actually I like to slice it into chips, dip it in some guacamole, chop it up, put it in, add it to salads. It's super delicious, nice and crunchy, and mild texture. Now the thing you're going to want to know with the jicama is that you're going to want to have a long season. So here in Hawaii, that's not an issue. In other parts of the country, it may be an issue if you have a short summer season. This guy takes a long time to mature. Even in Las Vegas, I had a fairly long season, but it wasn't quite long enough to get some nice big jicama. I got some nice and small ones that were tastier than anything I've bought before. So if you're Asian, you may be familiar with this next melon that I'm going to share with you guys, but most of you guys, as Americans, are not familiar with it. And what that one is, this is called the winter melon. So the winter melon is kind of related to the watermelon, but when you cut open a watermelon, it's nice and, pink or red or orange or, yellow on the inside. There's even ones that are kind of like white on the inside that are sweet. But the winter melon is a melon that's actually not sweet, but it's a good long-term storage melon. It actually stores longer, and that's why it's called a winter melon in the wintertime for use, when your watermelons aren't lasting any longer. But it doesn't have quite a sweet flavor. It's used kind of more like a vegetable. And so this is definitely one you might want to try to experiment with, so you'll have a nice, fresh melons in the wintertime, maybe even at Christmas. So no trip to Hawaii would be complete without hearing about the Maui onion. The Maui onion is known as one of the sweetest onions, and you can grow the Maui onions wherever you live if you got the Maui onion seeds. That being said, due to the day length, it may not perform or make nice sweet onions as they do grow in Maui, but at least you could try. I personally like the sweet onions instead of, the more onions that have more pungent flavor. Although, be aware that the sweet onions are not good long-term storage onions. So if you're storing onions for the winter, grow some of those nice pungent varieties that are more hot than sweet. I myself prefer to grow a lot of sweet onions and, well, a few pungent ones as well. Aside from the Maui onions, which are the little bulb you'll eat, they also have a variety of different green onions available, from the Japanese thick stalk to the slender stalk to a Japanese green onion that's wind resistant. Figure that. One of the crops that I'm recently learning to love, that actually grows quite well and probably one of my top picks for growing in the Las Vegas desert, but also will grow well here in Hawaii with sustained warm temperatures. This crop doesn't do so well if you have summers that are kind of fluctuate in temperature and not super warm, is the okra. And I'm happy to say that they have here one of my favorite varieties of okra that I grew actually this past season. It's actually called the Cajun Delight variety, and it actually grew quite well for me. I want to remind you guys, when growing okra, you want to pick them at the nice young stage before they get all hard, woody, and mature. In its nice and young stage, you can actually eat it fresh. And yeah, it's got a little bit of that weird, funky slime stuff, but I like to cut it up and put it in salads, and it's a nice, delicious texture that most people usually don't get to eat. So before I share the last 2 crops that I'm going to share with you guys today, one of the interesting facts I learned about the Fukuda seed store is that they sell the seed to many of the farmers here on the island. So if you go to Chinatown and buy some of the leafy greens, some of these very varieties, those seeds originated actually in this store. So that's definitely really cool. I mean, they have been in business since 1920, supplying the islands with the seeds to grow the crops that people are eating here on the islands. So the next one I want to share with you guys is actually one of their own unique seed varieties that you cannot find anywhere else. It's actually called the Fukuda Chinese Daikon. So this is their own special variety of the Daikon radish. I love the Daikon radish. My favorite is the pickled Daikon, the traditional Japanese style in the rice bran without any kind of preservatives. Like if you go to the store and buy it these days, it's dyed with yellow dye and they add all kind of things in there that I do not want to eat. So if you want me to be your best friend, grow some of these guys and pickle them in bran the old-fashioned way and I will love it. I also love actually like pickled kimchi and pickled radish, you know, kimchi style. This is probably the radish you're going to want to buy to do that. Now the cool thing about this radish is that it also, besides eating the radish root like many of us do, you can also eat the radish greens, and these radish greens are the smooth leaf, so you can eat them, you know, easier than the other kind of radish leaves that have the little pricker things on them. I always encourage you guys when harvesting your leaves to eat, pick the little small baby leaves. They're always going to be more tender and flavorful than the old mature leaves that don't taste so good. So the last seed packet that I'll be sharing with you guys today are these guys right here. I mean, I know many of you guys don't live near the ocean. You may need sponges, you know, to clean your sink, to maybe rub down your body and all this kind of stuff. With these seeds here, you can literally grow your own sponge. Well, technically it's not a sponge, it's a loofah sponge. And these gourds are actually hollow on the inside and will produce the seeds on the inside, but also make a nice, you know, cellulose network that looks like a sponge that's sold in many actually ethnic markets as sponges. So why buy sponges when you could simply grow your own by buying some angled loofah and grow your own sponges? You know, I've had a lot of fun here sharing with you guys this seed store and sharing with you guys some of my favorite seeds that are barely available in other places. If you're interested in learning more about the Fukuda seed store, you can check them out online at fukudaseedstore.com. Not sure if their website's currently up, so if they're not, be sure to call them at 808-841-6719, or you can fax them at 808-842-0295. So as you guys can see, the sun's setting behind me and the day's pretty much over. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode learning about the farm supply store with the plants and the fruit trees, and also the seed store. Of the two, for the majority of you guys, the seed store is going to be much more valuable because the seed store will also ship you guys some of those rare, unique, and exotic varieties of seeds that are probably more heat tolerant and going to handle the nice weather here in Hawaii and also handle your nice summer weather. So be sure to look them up if you're interested in getting some of those cool and unique rare varieties. I always want to encourage you guys to diversify and don't just grow the standard lettuce, carrots, and beets and tomatoes, but grow new and different things that you're not used to because they may grow better in your area. Plus you also might learn that you really like them actually even more than some of your current favorite vegetables and fruits and herbs. In any case, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Once again, my name is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. Aloha for today and keep on growing. Alright, this is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you, and aloha still in Hawaii here on Oahu. And now we're going to share with you guys